You're listening to the English Football Podcast. The Gunners keep firing, Man City respond to a pep talk, and the Hammers show up for David Moyes. Will Liverpool and Chelsea actually manage the Champions League this season? And who on earth is going to catch Arsenal and Manchester City? Hello and welcome to the English Football Podcast. I'm with Theo and Luca. Hello lads.
Hello. Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. We're just going to chat about the games on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Some exciting fixtures. One of them didn't turn out as goal-fest as we thought. But at the Emirates, it's the first time this season that Arsenal are favourites to win the Premier League. Luca, might it have been a draw if Casemiro was on the pitch?
I mean, personally, I thought we would have lost if Casemiro was on the pitch. When I watched the Palace game and he got a yellow and he was off, God, I think all Arsenal fans were happy then because he just controls the midfield for Man U. I don't want to say it, but he controls it. Although I think Partey just shown the Casemiro and Arsenal that game because Partey, I don't think we could have done it with if Casemiro's there, and let's say it was Partey the one out. I don't think we could have won. I think Man U would have easily bagged that with Casemiro.
Theo, the big question is, can you go all the way?
Well, I hope so, but I just think like Haaland scored another hat-trick, and with the team Man City have got, their bench is like a first team as well, and I think there's no stopping City, and because we've still got 2 games to play against City and like 1 against Liverpool, the 6 points from the 2 City games, if they win, they're like literally straight away on same points as us, so I reckon it'll be quite quick to catch us, so I don't think we'll last at the top of the league, but top 4, yeah, I think we might.
Both of the best players in the league are Norwegian, Odegaard and Haaland. Got a little fun fact. I mean, Odegaard's playing really well.
Yeah.
He got that goal against Spurs. I think there was one time that game I saw he got the ball in his own box and he dribbled past about 5 Man United players before he got it out.
Did you watch the Arsenal Brighton game?
Yeah.
That assist for Martinelli, I think it was our 4th goal of the game, to seal the win. That pass, he just got out of our box, received the ball first time. He didn't even look. He just knew where Martinelli was, and it was one of the best assists this season. Honestly, I think if you haven't watched that, you need to see it because that was pure class.
I mean, it's the Norway national team have got 2 of the best players in the Premier League. I mean, the best league in the world, and they can't make the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, they probably should next time it's on, probably, because, yeah, like you said, 2 best in the league, and if you look at their squad, it's not that bad, though, and I think Odegaard and Haaland this season have both been amazing, and the move for Haaland to City was incredible.
It's the first time Manchester United have lost after scoring first. Do you think there was quite a bit of pressure? I mean, the stat came up on the screen. It said Manchester United results after scoring first, and it had about 23 wins and 12 draws, no defeats. Were you thinking, right, the best we can get is a draw?
When they went 1-0 up, and even when we put it back to 1-1, I thought, I still don't think we're coming back into this. But even when they did make it 2-2 after we scored our second, we carried that game. I think we had so many chances, chance after chance. For me, I wasn't that worried. In the second half, the only thing I was worried about was it being a draw and how we should have won, because in the second half, we were miles better. We had so many chances, and I think that 90th minute goal, we deserved that so much, and in that minute it just makes it even more special.
I mean, there's sort of, hold on, it was a good goal from Rashford as well, a beautiful finish.
Saka's was magical. Saka's.
I mean, I didn't actually. I mean, I turned it on just as he scored. So Saka. So I didn't see the goal actually. I need to watch it.
It's way better than Rashford's. In my opinion, probably because I'm an Arsenal fan, but still, it's from further out. It has more colour. Rashford's goal was amazing, but for me, Saka's goal was just finessed. It was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the 90th minute winner, Nketia's goal. Will that boost his confidence a lot?
Yeah, because there's been some games this season where he's been quite poor, and then some games where he's actually been good and scored. I think I heard this in the game. They were saying like there's so many eyes on him because Jesus is out, but I think he's done a good job filling in and scoring 2 against a team like Man U. It'll really boost his confidence, and I think it'll help the whole team out because if he knows he can score and if he can do that well, then it'll help him in the whole Arsenal squad.
It's Man United's first defeat in 11 games. I mean, Crystal Palace halted their, 7-game unbeaten run. No, sorry, winning.
2 goals in the last minute in the past 2 games.
In the last 7 games, I think they won, and Crystal Palace put that to an end. Brilliant free kick there from Elise as well.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, amazing.
That was on Wednesday night. Yes, it was. How well did Arsenal? I know, obviously, Man City winning against Wolves before at 2:00 that kick-off. How well? I mean, maybe I think Arteta might have said something. Maybe they didn't look at that result just to sort of go into it. Yeah. But surely in the back of their mind, they would have known, City probably have beaten Wolves today. We've got a huge pile of pressure on our hands. Yeah. Do you think they dealt with it well?
Very, very well, I think. Because if we hadn't won that game, we'd only have been 2 points above Man City, because we're 5, I think, now. But, yeah, there was a big amount of pressure as well that game. Even if, like you said, they hadn't seen the result, they still would have been fighting for their lives to win that. And, yeah, we definitely performed for all the Arsenal fans. We delivered very well.
Theo, is that the title gone for Man United?
I don't actually know, because I think... God, how many points? I don't. They're not too far behind us.
From City.
From City. Oh, yeah. So I reckon there's still a chance, but I don't see a team like Man City and maybe Arsenal letting them get that much ahead of them. I guess because Man U haven't been the strongest, even though they have been doing well. But I just think City that you're not going to stop them really, and they won't drop that many points. So. Yeah, I think for top of the league, obviously, but maybe top 2, I think it's gone for them now.
I mean, I was talking to someone today about the game, and they said, I mean, the gap's now 5 points. They said if Man City and Arsenal win all their games, all Man City will have to do is beat you twice. Yeah. And I know that's a huge statement, but they've got on paper the better team. Yeah, I think.
We've got a game in hand still, but if we win that, we're 8 points. But then if they win the 2 against us, there's only 2 points, and I reckon we could just lose another game or draw, and just drop points and give Man City that chance to go ahead. And I think they'll take it if there is. But because there's 2 games against City. Like I said, I don't think you can stop them really.
I mean, is being sort of chased by a team like City? Is it obviously you'd rather be being chased by Spurs because they bottle it all the time, or another team? But do you think that's sort of driven the Arsenal players to go all the way?
Yeah, well, there's no room for mistakes now, especially even at the start of the season. With a team like Man City following you, you just can't trip up, can you? And I think, it's definitely drived us a bit, knowing that it's Man City rather than, like you said, Spurs or someone like Newcastle. It's definitely drived us because we know that Man City can beat anyone in the world on their day. They can be the best team in the world on their day, and obviously they've won the Premier League so many times recently. it's definitely drove the whole Arsenal team knowing that we need to beat them because they will come back if we slip.
They obviously play in the FA Cup soon. Do you think that'll have a bearing on the league?
Who, Arsenal? Yeah. Yeah, well, I think we're going to have to play like our second team. But I don't... When we played Oxford, we played like Saka and Martinelli. I think give them a rest, because if they get injured, then they're out for the Prem. And I think getting Trossard in, that was good now, because we've got a backup. But still, I think just play like Rob Holding, maybe just like Tommy, just a bit of a backup squad, and like El Lenny, put him in there for the FA Cup, because if we lose it, it's not a bad thing, then less to focus on. But just keep a good squad for the Prem and don't bring all of them into cups like that.
I mean, I suppose if they win that, there's no one I can think of that can stop them in the FA Cup. So surely
But I don't think
they're favourites to win the FA Cup now. Probably if they win that, they're favourites to win the FA Cup. They are now favourites to win the Premier League, and they're definitely favourites to win the Europa League. Can they do the treble?
Oh, I'd love it. I'd really love it. I think I haven't actually thought of it that way with the FA Cup. I just thought, don't really care about the FA Cup this season. I just want to focus on Prem, so I haven't really thought about that anyway. But if we win our next game in the FA Cup, then that will obviously make us look favourites in Europa League. We've probably been favourites from the start anyway. So yeah, I think if we play it right and play the right players in the right competition, I think we have a chance of the treble this year.
I mean, it feels like so long since we've played any European matches.
Yeah.
Because of the World Cup break and everything. I mean, there's, especially for we're us supporters, West Ham and Arsenal, they play in the round of 16, and before that you have to go through all the games in the round of 32 with the teams that have come down from the other league. I mean, just talking about if they can do all three, do they have the squad depth for that?
Yeah, that's the thing. Because we just bought another centre back and winger, and I think that'll help. But I don't know, because if we do end up going out in the FA Cup, it'll be because we're obviously not going to try go full out on that. It's the FA Cup, and that doesn't matter. And I think the two main, obviously Prem and Europa, and I reckon full out on Prem, because you can't, that's the best league. But then with Europa, a good strong squad, but have we got enough players to put? I don't know if we've got enough to put a good team in that and rest some players for then a good team in the Prem. So I don't know. I think might need a few more signings as backups maybe.
At the Etihad, Manchester City played Wolves just before the game at the Emirates. Obviously, Man City did put the gap to 2 points before that game. A 3-0 win. All the goals coming from Erling Haaland with his fourth hat-trick of this season. I think the most in one season is
38.
I think
Shearer in the Prem.
Shearer for 5 in the Prem.
Oh, yeah.
He could definitely do that. But
He's got 4.
Can he get 40?
40 goals?
Yeah, this season.
I thought you meant 40 hat-tricks. 40 goals. Right now, it's looking easy work for him. I think, currently he's been before this game, a bit off his form, but when he comes back on a hat-trick like this, it just looks so easy for him. I saw that was it last season? The Golden Boot got 23 goals. I think I'm right, yeah. Haaland's is he on more than that now? How many goals do you think? How many goals is he on this
probably.
season? Yeah, I think he's on more than, or he's joined that.
Maybe.
Yeah. But if he's already got near enough the Golden Boot from last season, then he's easily winning this season, but it's just whether he can beat the record. But I think for someone like Haaland, the machine, I think it'll be easier for him.
In his first season as well in the Premier League. I mean, from a Wolves point of view, they did put up a fight and they did show that they can at least put a good performance against the big teams. Although the question is, with all the teams down there, maybe Southampton, Everton, we'll talk about Lampard in a bit, probably Forest, Bournemouth, maybe
West
Forest.
Ham.
Yep,
I'm
West
joking
Ham,
now.
sadly. Will Wolves be in the bottom 3 out there?
I think Forest will stay up, you see, so I think they might be, because I think Bournemouth, I think they'll definitely go down. Everton now, they will. So it's kind of like Southampton or Wolves or Leeds. And I think Wolves are doing, well, Southampton are doing pretty bad, but Wolves aren't looking that strong. And I reckon they could go down, and if they do, they'll lose so many players and it'll just be a big shock for them. Well, not shock, let down, but yeah, I reckon they might actually go down.
I mean, they've got players that will definitely want to stay up in the Premier League, like, for example, Connor, Cody, Jimenez, maybe Huang.
Yeah.
He's been good. Neves,
Traore.
But do they need to sign anyone else to help them stay
Yeah.
up?
Yeah, I think for a team like Wolves, who in seasons before this have been performing amazing, I think right now, looking at their performances, I don't know what position because I'm not a big Wolves fan, but looking at their position, the manager or the board must know they need to bring someone in soon, because even though they have got a strong team, the whole team's just lacking that composure or whatever they need, confidence. I think if they bring someone good in the team, I think that'll help them out a lot. Yeah.
Manchester City I think I heard Guardiola say a bit. He said after the Carabao Cup defeat to Southampton, he said that no one cares about the Carabao Cup, and he doesn't care about the Premier League. He's focusing on the Champions League, and
I think he does care about the Prem. I think that's a bit of a lie.
do they? Who do they play next? Is it Leipzig?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's anyway, but they play someone in the Champions League. Can they go all the way in that?
Yeah. The thing is, not every season, but seasons you thought they just won the Prem. They're such an amazing team. They'll easily win the UCL, and then they go and bottle it against such an easy team. The easy answer now would be, well, not an easy team, but yeah. The easy answer now would be, yeah, they can easily win, but it's just whether they can keep that, because Champions League and Premier League, to keep up, and if you win both of them, just amazing.
Yeah,
I think whether they can keep up with the Prem and Champions League, it's just which one they want more. And if Pep says Champions League, then maybe they can win it. It's just which one you want to perform more.
Well, I think to sort of round off his career, he'll need to win a Champions League at City. At the London Stadium, they hosted 17th versus 18th, and West Ham came away with a 2-0 win. It was poor team versus poor team, and just a day after that, as we're filming, Lampard has been, well, not filming, but Lampard has been sacked. Was it the right decision?
Yeah, definitely. I saw something, I think it was 10 or 11 losses in 14 games. I'm surprised they didn't sack him earlier. Should have been gone quite a while ago, but yeah, definitely the right decision. I mean, he's been doing really poor, so yeah.
I mean, do you think he would have got sacked earlier if he didn't draw to Man City?
Yeah, definitely. I think Man City was probably obviously not saved him now, but yeah, gave him hope. It definitely saved his job then, but I mean, didn't really make a difference. And like we said in the episode of who we want sacked, I think, well, not one, but who should get sacked. I think I'm just surprised he's been sacked now, not like 10 games before this, because yeah, I think they've made the right decision. They bring another manager in, they can start again, start fresh.
And now that Big Fat Frank has been sacked, who are they going to bring in?
Jose Mourinho. No, I don't. Oh, imagine that. No, I don't actually know. I don't really know who's got a job open.
There's Rafa Benitez and Sean Dyche, who West Ham have looked at. It looks like West Ham, if Moyes does get sacked, will bring in Rafa Benitez. Sean Dyche to Everton. Does that?
That sounds right.
Yeah, that would work, I think. But still, I mean, I don't know how we do, because now they're the bottom 3. I don't know if he'd get them like high, like really high up. He might actually get them out of relegation. I think he'll be a good manager for them, but it won't like make a massive difference, but I reckon he could get them out relegation, and that's probably what they want at the minute.
I think it doesn't matter which manager they bring in, even if they bring in Pep Guardiola or Jose Mourinho. It's going to be so hard to get out of the position they are in now. I mean, obviously, at least they've still got half a season left, but yeah, it doesn't matter what manager they bring in. I think whichever one it'll be, they'll have a very tough job of getting Everton back to how they were.
I mean, I went to that game, and they need to start changing how they play. They need to. The only two players on that team that maybe sort of the ones that worried me, about when they attack, was Iwobi and Onana.
Oh yeah.
So I think, and they can't rely on those two players.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe for 10 minutes, Demarai Gray looked good, but they just need to turn it around.
Yeah.
The players need to improve. I mean, they played really, really poorly. Although, from West Ham perspective, we just played like we usually do, and the only reason one of the reasons we won is just because Everton were sort of very poor and we were quite poor. So
they need to get some signings, because they need to sign a few players. Like you said, I think Iwobi's done amazing for them this season. So they haven't even got a strong squad, but their players are looking really poor. And like you said, the way they're playing, they're not even looking that much like they want the win, because they're just doing really bad at the minute.
West Ham have signed Danny Ings, came on for about 20 minutes. I mean, I don't think you watched the game, but just from first glance, is that a good signing?
Well, very good signing. Personally, he didn't play it. Southampton, amazing. Then lost his form a bit at Villa. I think West Ham, for me, I think that's a perfect club to go to, especially in position West Ham are now. He can be their main striker. He can be someone that you focus on when you look at West Ham from now. Obviously, you watched the game. Was he good when he came on the pitch?
Yeah. I mean, I think he should start against maybe not Derby in the FA Cup, but especially against Newcastle. He was very confident on the ball. The pressure didn't get to him. But being at a new club, there was sort of this thing around him as if like, can he save the Hammers from relegation? And I think he'll really help, especially. I mean, the second goal, Antonio. I think maybe Antonio should move on to the wing, because when he did come across, obviously the second goal he did so well. I don't know whether you watched the goals now, but he got the ball. He like chipped it over a slide tackle, ran all the way through, got past one player, put it into the box. Bowen scored. And I think Bowen as well can hopefully find his form after those goals. But I'll ask you, Theo. I'll say what I think soon because I'm a West Ham fan. Should David Moyes be sacked?
Oh, it's a tough one. I think he should, because he has not done that well, and compared to like last season, 7th, like he's doing quite poor. It is only halfway and there's quite a long to go, but still I think he's not doing that well, and I think sack him, get a new manager, and I think a new manager, like better with the squad. I think you'll go a lot higher and not be in like, oh, who might get relegated anymore.
I mean, I think he that game will, sort of help him not to get sacked. Yeah. But he's still gonna have to prove himself. Yeah, he'll definitely get sacked if we lose to Derby.
Yeah.
Unless it's 1-0 and we play our reserves, and I don't know, we hit the bar a million times. But especially also we're in the UEFA Conference League. We wouldn't want anything to sort of hinder that and hinder how well we're doing in that. Because also, if we win the Conference League, which is a big thing to say, but then we'd have Europa League next season, and we wouldn't even have to finish in the top, 5th or 6th. We could finish 17th and get into Europa League from winning that. But anyway, we'll move on. Move on to St Mary's, where Southampton played Aston Villa. It's now 16 points in the 21 points available for Unai Emery under his management. Can he get them into Europe?
I think, they weren't my first choice of who would get into Europe, but I think if he performs them right, then yeah, I think he can get them into Europe. It's not obviously the ideal team you think are going to get there, but Emery, we've seen, he is a great manager, and he can do some great things with any team that he's given. And I think if he just plays it right, then I think he'll do well.
What about you, Theo?
Well, obviously, at the minute, there's teams like Liverpool, Chelsea and Brighton and like Fulham who are battling for 7th. So they're not as good as them, obviously, Villa. So I reckon maybe 10th, might be 10th or 9th might be highest for them. Because they are good and he is... I think next season he'll do really well. But just because at the minute it's teams like Brentford, Liverpool, Chelsea all for 7th. So I don't think they'll get over them, but still, I reckon top half, and that'll be good for him. I think Unai Emery is a great manager, and he's going to do great with them.
I'm surprised you didn't say because he's managed Arsenal.
Oh, I was so close. Then I realised it didn't really end well with him and Arsenal, so I shouldn't say that.
So, it's now Southampton's 7th loss in a row. Are they getting relegated?
Well, yeah, like I was saying with Wolves, it's Bournemouth and then Everton who at the minute I think probably will, but then it's like Wolves and Southampton, and at the minute Southampton are looking like one of the worst teams in the league, so I reckon they might get relegated, and if they don't, they'll be like a point from it. But yeah, because the way they're playing and where they are in the league, it's not even looking good for them, so I reckon they'll get relegated. Yeah. And they won't look too good. What about you?
I think they need to change things as soon as possible. I mean, it was obviously Watkins, his goal, but that won it in the end. But they just don't look. I mean, except for that Man City game, they just looked, lazy. Yeah. I mean, also, I think if you win the Carabao Cup, you get an automatic spot in the UEFA Conference League. So, as I said with West Ham, they could finish bottom and be in the Conference League. But the question is, how will they be able to? Obviously, Newcastle and Man U are still in there. That they can beat Forest, but I don't think it's a good idea just putting everything on the Carabao Cup if they are going to do that. So
would you rather be in the Prem than the Carabao Cup?
Yeah. So
you'd rather stay up, yeah.
I think they need to change things, and if they don't change things and start playing well, they're going to go down.
What about Aston Villa? I know they just won without Ings, but do you think that'll be a big loss to them?
Well, they've got Ollie Watkins, and I think they've got Cameron Archer. I think that's another Villa player, and they've got choices to come and play striker if Watkins gets injured. But I don't think it's too big of a loss. I think it's more West Ham's advantage than their disadvantage. But we'll move on. Yeah. It's Sturridge's first goal for Forest, where they drew at the Vitality 1-1 to Bournemouth, and now it was sort of. I mean, Forest were quite far of getting from in safety, but will who's gonna? If it was between those two teams, I mean, it might be both. Who would stay up?
Forest. For me, Forest any day. I just think they're a team that just look much more dangerous, and they've
Beat
obviously,
Liverpool.
like what I was saying about Leeds, that Forest can pull off some awful, like this, they should have won probably, but like awful results against bad teams. But when they play some of the top teams, Forest can do amazing things against them and beat them or draw or level. Yeah, but yeah, for me it's Forest any day to stay back up because they got better players, and I just think their team clicks more than Bournemouth.
I mean, we saw that as well in the game against Liverpool and Chelsea, and was Spurs? No, I don't think Spurs. But in Bournemouth's perspective, do they need to sign anyone?
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's a team like that as well, like up out of Championship, then go back down, then they're probably always looking to sign someone. I think they do at pretty much literally every position, maybe. But I reckon they need a stronger defence, and they need a midfielder who can keep going the whole game and will actually help them and just keep going, because they're not looking like a really strong side who would stay up in the Prem at the minute. So they need, like a big signing.
I think they need a goal scorer as well. There's been tons of times where they've not scored and the other team's kept a clean sheet against them. They're probably one of the teams that if you were going in to play them, the defence would think, I'd be sad to concede 2 to this team. But anyway, at Anfield, it was a game that everyone was looking forward to. This one is going to be full of goals. It's Liverpool-Chelsea. It was surprisingly 9th versus 10th this time.
There was a lot of good plays in it. Like Mudryk came on and I think he did really well. But it wasn't boring because there was no goals. But there wasn't really a lot in it. There was some set play. There was a lot of good plays, but just goalless. So not really much to say about that.
There was a goal as well in 3 minutes in from Havertz. It was disappointingly. I just wanted a goal. A run ruled out for offside, but it was clear offside to be fair. But that would have made things interesting.
I mean, I interviewed Harry as well about the game. Liverpool fan. He featured in the Liverpool and Arsenal combined 11. This was his interview.
Rubbish.
Hello, Harry. Just gonna have a chat about the Liverpool-Chelsea game. A lot of people said it was quite boring. It was a 0-0 draw. What did you think of it?
I mean, you expect that from a 0-0 draw, especially if you go to a game. You've gone there for atmosphere, and it comes out 0-0. It wasn't very end to end. It was, a lot of it was played in the middle, but I guess that's football now. And it was a fairly even game.
Do you think Liverpool or Chelsea could get the Champions League this season?
I mean, from the start of the season especially, football in the Premier League at the minute has just turned so unpredictable. Obviously, nobody expected Liverpool to play like they are, and the same with Chelsea. Manchester United have obviously had a brilliant spell these past few games, so you never know. We could switch it around and, I don't know. You never know in football.
What about Chelsea? Do you think Graham Potter's... I think he came in, they were 6th or 7th, and he's brought them all the way down to 9th or 10th. Do you think he's the right person to bring in after Tuchel?
I mean, the question is, who else would you bring in replacement? There's not many better managers on offer at the minute, really. So, I guess you've just got to kind of take what you can get and weigh it up, kind of thing, yeah.
Chelsea's new signing Mudryk came on for, 10-15 minutes. How do you think he played?
He's a good player. I mean, it's kind of what you expect from a new signing. He's had a good debut. He didn't buckle under the pressure. He had a few chances where it had beaten Milner, came to him at the back post, and he tried to take that touch instead of shooting first time, but no, he had a good game, I think. Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about Darwin Núñez. He's 6 goals this season, I think, in the Prem. How do you think he's playing?
I rate him. I think he's a very underrated player, and it's not just because I'm a Liverpool fan or whatever. But I think he's very underrated. From the stats that he produces, they're brilliant. Obviously his finishing's very questionable, but then could you say, is a striker the best place for someone who can't finish? He's fast, he's strong, he can hold up the ball. So could he be a winger and then provide whoever you want in the middle?
Yeah, maybe Cody Gakpo there or something,
Yeah. Well, he's been playing striker for the past few games. Núñez was on the left when he came on against Chelsea. So yeah, we'll just have to see what Klopp's plans are.
Do you need any more transfers maybe to strengthen the team?
New midfielder. We've got some great youth coming through. Obviously Curtis Jones and Cade Gordon. Players like that, who obviously Cade Gordon's been out due to growing pains, but he's coming back fit. Obviously Luis Diaz, he's more or less back in training. So I'd say a new midfielder. I would like the thought of Jude Bellingham, but I think yeah, I don't know. We'll see, but I say Jude Bellingham is a good option.
Right then, thank you. Cheers. See you next time.
Worries. Thank you.
So, obviously, Harry was talking there about Darwin Núñez, Mudryk, saying about his performances. We'll say about Núñez first. Harry said that he's been quite underrated. 6 goals, six goals this season. The most chances created and shots this season.
Yeah, but he's missed out.
Although, does he just need to get his finishing ability on point?
Yeah, probably. Because, some of his... I don't really like him. I don't know why. I just think he's bad, so I probably don't talk good about him. But some of his play is good, and he can play and get chances, like you said. But I think his shooting's poor. And if he just works in shooting, if he actually has good shooting, the chances he gets to actually score, he'll score a lot more, and it will help him and the team out. Because he misses quite a lot of chances.
Luca, do you think Liverpool or Chelsea could make it to the Champions League this season?
I said this when we did the predicted table. Chelsea, no way. Liverpool, maybe. I was saying how, with Chelsea, I don't think they're gonna get a comeback from where they are now. Well, yeah, they'll definitely get in Europe for me, but not Champions League. Liverpool, if they have even just one game, but if they have something Klopp says to them, it could turn them around for the rest of the season. And I think it's just Liverpool. Look at their team; it's amazing. Apart from Núñez, but yeah, I think if Klopp just says something, switches right in Liverpool, they're going to be winning after win after win, and yeah, I think they could get 4th place if they play their cards right.
At the King Power, Leicester drew 2-2 to Brighton. A late goal for Brighton in the 88th minute. It was I think Brighton had 2 games in hand against Spurs in 5th. 3 points behind them. If Spurs, depending on the result today, that was a huge game to get 3 points and really put pressure on Spurs.
Especially against a team like Leicester.
Yeah, can Brighton make it to Europe?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, well, I'm just going to say the exact same as I did with Liverpool or Chelsea, but I'll make it short. Yeah, I think Brighton can easily make it to Europe, and they definitely bottled this game. With a team like Leicester who are on pretty terrible form, this should have been an easy 3 points, but yeah, Leicester did perform well to stop them.
Theo, will Leicester finish in the top half?
I just think because they've had some games which have been quite poor, some have been good. I don't think top half because, like I was saying, the teams who are challenging there, like Liverpool, Chelsea, Brighton, Brentford, Fulham, all them. And I reckon bottom half, but close, like about maybe like 12th or something like that, 11th. They'll be really close to it in the end. But I think Leicester are a team and they're going to get better and they will get better. So just have to wait. But yeah.
Also, you got Mittermeier got man of the match and 1 goal. Will he be a transfer target for some teams?
Yeah, I'd love to sign him because the way he performed against us as well was amazing. I just think it's the same probably with McAllister coming back from good form. I think now teams have seen Mitoma, who no one knew before. Yeah, a lot of teams will be looking for him.
At Selhurst Park, another 0-0 draw for Crystal Palace and Newcastle. 3 0-0 draws all this weekend. Oh, very well. Yeah, very very boring.
Nothing to say.
But it was quite a scrappy game actually. But I suppose the question is now, Newcastle have been the Leeds draw, the Arsenal draw, now the Crystal Palace draw. Have they had their peak? Will they still finish in the top 4?
Well, they're 4th now, aren't they? Are they? Yeah. And I think because the first half they were doing amazing, and then now these draws, and it's looking like Man U are climbing up, and there's just other teams which are looking good. I reckon Spurs, because they're near to Newcastle, obviously, so they might be a target, and I reckon Spurs will get top 4. But yeah, I don't know. Newcastle, they have the ability, I think, to stay top 4, but they're just not. The last few games they haven't been doing that well. So yeah, they might bottle it. I think that they have a chance that they might bottle it, but with their team they can stay top 4.
And the final 0-0 draw of the weekend came at Ellen Road, where Leeds drew to Brentford. Leeds are, well, Luca, are Leeds going to get relegated?
I don't think so. I mean, even though a lot of people are thinking that now and they're doing pretty poor, for me, I'd love them to go down. I'd love it, but I think if they get a couple of decent results, or even just a draw like this, they can pull themselves back, in my opinion. There's definitely worse teams. Like, for me, it's probably Everton, Bournemouth and Southampton. Maybe not Everton, but yeah, there's definitely worse teams that are going to go down this season. So yeah, I think Leeds could pull it back, and I don't think they will go down.
I mean, it's 8 now undefeated runs. Only that 4-0 loss to Villa, so it's 1 loss in 9 games for Brentford. How well has Thomas Frank done at Brentford?
Yeah, I think he's done really well because his first game when they got moved up, so last season, it was like, I think, beat Arsenal 2-0. Don't need to talk about that though. And they did well last season, and this season they're just doing so well, and he's doing so good for them. And like what he's done with the squad, because it's not the best of squads, and like he's just brought them so far. Getting Conference League this season or someplace like that, even top 10 would be just a big achievement, and it would be really good for them.
I mean, can they make Europe this season? It's only 4 losses for them all season. Can they like at least get to 7th ahead of maybe Fulham, Brighton?
I reckon 7th. Yeah, they can do that. For them, yeah, they can. I mean, maybe 6th. They could do that, but it would be quite a stretch. But they can definitely get Conference League, and that, like I said, 4 losses. They're doing really well this season, so yeah, it's looking like they can.
That was their 9th draw of the season. But that is all for this weekend, and we will look forward to the game at Craven Cottage where Fulham play Spurs tonight. So we'll do a video on that soon as well. Thank you for listening. I'm Callum.
I'm Luca.
I'm Theo.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.